Okay, welcome back. We're going to put this lecture into. So, we continue with trigonometry. So, let's see if we can have another question. So, if we're given a right triangle, say, if we're given a right triangle, say, this angle is 40 degrees and this side is 12, and this is the hypotenuse. We're told to find this angle x. Okay, what trig function can we use to solve this? Remember, this is the opposite angle, so this is opposite, this is a right angle, this is the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent side. All right, so what trig function can we use to find x? Remembering SOHCAHTOA. All right. So what trig function can we use to solve this? Since we're looking for x and we have the adjacent side, the trig function that has the opposite and adjacent side is a tan. So we could say tan 40 degrees is equals to what? Opposite over adjacent, opposite x over the adjacent side, which is 12. Okay, so to get x now, we multiply both sides by 12, which will now be 12 tan 40 degrees is equals to x. And you can use your calculator to know what tan 40 degrees is. And that is, make sure your calculator mode is in degree mode to get an accurate result. So tan 40 will be 0.839. So this is now 12 times 0.8391. So we can then say x is equals to multiplied by 12. X is equals to 10.01. Okay, so we can then say this side is 10.01. all right, so that's how, using the trig function, we've gotten the missing side x. So now that you have two sides, you could easily use the Pythagorean theorem to find the last side, which says a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. All right, we try another question. Okay, let's try another question. Let's say we are given a triangle, a right triangle. You know, the side opposite the right triangle is the hypotenuse, and we're given an angle here, theta, of 54 degrees. Then we're told that the hypotenuse side is 26, and we're told to find the value of x. What trig function do you think we can use? Remember our trig function of SOHCAHTOA. You should have this always at the back of your palm. So what trig function do you think we can use for this? Feel free to pause the video at any time to attempt the question and come back to us. Okay, so we're looking for the adjacent side, and we have the hypotenuse side. So adjacent hypotenuse, that should be our cosine. So we can then say cosine 54 degrees is equal to the adjacent side is x, we don't know that what that is, over the hypotenuse of 26. Okay, so if we know this, then we can work out what x is by cross multiplying. So if we cross multiply, we're going to have 26 cos 54 degrees is equals to x. And if you use your calculator, always make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Cosine 54 is cosine 54 is 0.5877 or 5878 if we are to approximate it. Then if you multiply that by 26, you can get the value of x, and that will be 15.28. Okay, so the value of x here is 15.28. So that's it for that. Let's look at another question. Let's say we have another triangle. So if we have an angle 32 degrees, and we have the side here 8, and hypotenuse x, what trig function do you think we can use for this? We always know that the side opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the side opposite the angle is the opposite, and the other side is the adjacent side. So remember now, Sukatwa, we have the opposite and we have the hypotenuse, so that's the sine. We can use the sine function. So if we were to use the sine function, we'll have sine 32 degrees will be equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and the opposite here is 8 over the hypotenuse is x. So we then have x sine 32 degrees is equals to 8. And to know what x is, we'll divide by sine 32, which will be x is equals to 8 over sine 32 degrees, and x is equals to x is equal to 21.3. 8 divided by sine 32 will give you 21.3. Okay, here's another one we can try. So this time we'll be looking for the angle. In the other examples, we've looked for the sides. Now let's look for the angle. So let's say we have a triangle, a right triangle. The angle theta. We know this side to be 5 and this side to be 4, and we do not know what the hypotenuse is. So what function can we use to derive our theta, knowing that the angle opposite, the side opposite the angle is called the opposite, and the side just by the angle is called the adjacent side of the angle, and this is the hypotenuse. So what trig function can we use knowing the values of two sides, the opposite and the adjacent side? So SOHCAHTOA, opposite over adjacent side. So we can use the tan theta to find the missing angle. So we can say tan theta is equal to what? Opposite over adjacent, which is 5/4. All right. And then to know what theta is, which is the angle, we then have to look for the inverse tan or the arctan of 5/4. All right. So to do this, you just have to type into your calculator arctan 5/4, and then you get the value of theta, which in this case is 51.34. In this case, the arctan is or the inverse tan is 51.34. Okay, so that's how you find the missing angle. We can still take a look at one more question. Okay, this example, we have a right angle triangle and we have theta, angle theta. If we have 3 and 7, these are hypotenuse and these are adjacent side. Feel free to pause the video and work out what theta should be. So here, since we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, we should be talking about the cosine, SOHCAHTOA. So the cos theta will be equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse will be same thing as that will be 3/7. All right. So to get theta, you just have to use your calculator again to find the arc cosine of 3/7, and in this case theta is equal to 64.62. Okay, you just have to use your calculator to get the arc cosine. In using your scientific calculator, most scientific calculators have the arc function as a secondary function where you have to press the shift button and still press the same cosine button or sine button, but you have to use a shift button to access that. Okay. Here's another one for you. This triangle is very poor. Okay. So in this example, let's say the opposite is 5, this is opposite, and the hypotenuse is 6, and we're told to find the value of theta, the angle theta. We know the function that's associated with opposite over hypotenuse is the sine. Always remember your SOHCAHTOA. For you to solve trigonometry efficiently, you have to have this at the back of your mind, SOHCAHTOA. So we can then say sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is 5/6. So theta will now be the sine arcsine of 5/6. So once again, you have to use your calculator to know what this is. So arcsine of 5/6 will give us, always ensure your calculator is in degree mode. Arcsine of 5/6 56.44, okay, degrees. So that's the value of theta. Okay, so that's it for trigonometry on right triangles. We've been able to see how we can measure the missing sides of a right triangle and the missing angle. So remember SOHCAHTOA, and remember the 6 functions of trigonometry. With the 6 functions, you can derive any angle or any of the sides in a right triangle. All right, so we have some interactive tasks here. Feel free to pause the video at any time to go through the interactive task and see what you come up with. All right, so trigonometric ratios are the sine, cosine, tangent, and the cosecant, secant, and the cotan. All right, then remember to use SOHCAHTOA while trying to derive angles and sides of a right angle triangle. All right, so kindly look for questions and practice more on this trigonometry. Then try to use your calculators when looking for the sine value or the inverse trig functions. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next class.